Hey folks, been gone for several days. Been dealing with a bout of depression. To be honest with you, I'm just being open about that. Um, I can I can locate the immediate biological triggers, but as I've said like in the past, all these sorts of things that we associate with the PMO addiction or um, with anything psychological. If it's a really big issue, I'd say that it's associated with some deep underlying issue or crisis that needs to be resolved. But my immediate biological triggers, and this is kind of weird for me because these things only happen like every 2 to 3 weeks on average. But I had a series of wet dreams, like it was like 3 or 4 of them in a week, and that was strange. Obviously, there's something going on, deeper than as a parent. But that left me with that kind of feeling that you get if you not only relapse, PMO relapse, but binge. And it's a whole like reward circuit. I have an article. I'm gonna put a link to it in the descriptions. That Bryn Mawr, but it's on the addiction and the reward circuit, and the whole experience got me thinking about that again because I'd gotten so far away from that. I hadn't felt that major drop in my emotional state for a long time. I got to the point of being very confident and almost cocky about this, and then this happens, and I'm also going through a breakup basically, so that might be what's really triggering that because as I've come to conclude, um, and a lot of this stuff is like if you go through the literature, you'll find that people like Aristotle and others, even like there's this medieval author Ibn Sirin who talked about this sort of stuff, but um, probably the majority of our dreams represent stuff that we've been thinking about or contending with facing during the day, and it's just our brains kind of going, kind of when you put your desktop into sleep mode, it's still processing things, it's still running programs, but it's not just not doing it, 100% power, that sort of thing. But a lot of our dreams, probably the majority of them are from that. So when I've had any of these dreams, I've tried to look at them and figure out like, okay, how does this connect to my day-to-day life or stuff that's happened in the past, things that I'm still thinking about in some sense, still facing. And I'm sure that's in some ways like those nocturnal missions I had, those wet dreams that I had, they're connected to some intensive stress, anxiety, depression, tension that I've been facing, and I haven't really resolved those things. But that happened, and for the last like few days, I felt like no motivation to do anything. I somehow got myself uh, to do a few things yesterday. I got up at 5:30, had some coffee, went and ran 3 miles in the morning after I got some breakfast, and that was like basically the biggest thing I got done that day. But it was like a little exercise, not only in trying to change my routine, which ironically enough, or oddly enough, or annoyingly enough, frustratingly enough, this today I completely like went the opposite of that. But um, I was just basically trying to overcome that lack of motivation and the depression, that sort of thing, and just giving myself little things that I could do that would then, act as things to tell myself, oh, I accomplished this today. I should feel a little bit better. I should feel good because I did this or did that. I said I was gonna do this. I said I was gonna go run 3 miles, and I ran 3 miles. But anywho, the reward circuit. Now, I'm not sure if I've actually mentioned this topic before in my other videos, but the reward circuit, from what I've gotten from reading this article and other sources, is that It's a pathway in the brain that connects what they call, let's see, the circuit includes the ventral tegmental area, the nucleus accumbens, and the prefrontal cortex. And this is essentially what um, I say. It says, okay, the natural function of the reward circuit is to provide a reward and associate pleasurable feelings in response to life-sustaining functions such as eating to encourage repetition of that function. And this is where you get into addictions with this sort of stuff, because the things like eating and exercise and other things like that, they get replaced by whatever it is that you're getting addicted to. Now, usually, this research focuses on controlled substance addiction, things like cocaine and so on. But in our case, it's PMO. That is the drug. So, um, I see that. I haven't fapped. I haven't looked at porn. I haven't looked at porn subs. I've been free of that stuff for all this time. Even just having a series of wet dreams, which, um, it's not PMO, but it had the same effect. I got that reward without having to do any work, and it was going through, 3 or 4 times in a week, giving me that same feeling. And, it's basically taking my reward circuit, and it's something that, I feel that it's taking control of that reward circuit. And, the PMO addiction does the same thing. It takes control of your reward circuit, and that's where we get these feelings of lack of motivation, depression, ennui, listlessness. And, it's because the thing that's giving us the dopamine is a specific neurotransmitter that's associated with the reward circuit. It's the kind of stuff that you can just latch onto without any real work. It's not like, okay, if I go running 3 miles, I have to actually get up, get my, running outfit on, get out the door, walk to the place where I'm gonna run, or just go running right away. Get out the door, get to the street and run, or go to the park and get there and run, or the trail or whatever. I have to actually make that effort. But whether it's a substance addiction or it's a PMO addiction, behavioral addiction, you don't have to do any real work. And so, not only does it, like it says in here, you get a hyperstimulation result from that thing, but you don't have to do any work for it, and that's why it becomes addicting. That's why you end up becoming listless and unmotivated and so on, because you're getting that reward without having to do any real work, And that's how I was feeling. I was feeling like listless, depressed, unmotivated. And I find it's ironic at this point, and it's definitely I think representative of a shift in my thinking that's occurred because of being on Nofap and no PMO and all that. But in the past, I would want that. I would want to have that sort of feeling. I would want to get the nocturnal emission because it was a way of me cheating the system, a way of me getting the pleasure of the orgasm without actually, having broken my rules. I said, oh, I could tell myself, well, it's not like I watched, pornography or rubbed one out. I had nocturnal emission. It's natural. But at this point, because I guess I've gotten to the point where I've experienced enough of the positive effects. I've experienced the motivation. I've experienced the change in perspective. I've experienced actually feeling mentally balanced and maybe not 100% happy, because life is life, and you're not always going to feel happy, especially when you're in a state in life where you feel like you're not there yet. You haven't passed goal. You haven't collected your $200, but I definitely feel like I'm moving forward in life in many ways. And when you experience that kind of stuff, and then you have this happen again, you see the night versus day change there. Because I went from feeling like I said, not necessarily 100% happy, but at least functional, to feeling completely dysfunctional and depressed. And that's one of the dangers of PMO addiction, and that's one of the dangers of uh, getting caught up in your dopamine rush, because everything that goes up must come down. At least in this world where we have gravity existing, and even with metaphorically speaking, you could say that gravity does exist in the world of addiction. Because you go up with that dopamine release, that massive dopamine release, and then you crash down. And yeah, so the last several days I've been feeling that, and I'm glad that it seems to be finally over. I've been having like more and more dreams, but they haven't really been, you know, they definitely have not been sexual in nature or led to a sexual response, so to speak. So that's been alright, but it's kind of like, I mean, I still have underlying problems and issues to deal with, and that's being made clear to me because I'm having these things happen. Um, I'd say that it wouldn't be if I was having like, once every 2 to 3 weeks. That would just be a natural biological response that, okay, the buildup is there and the body's got to get rid of it somehow. Make sure the pipes are running, make sure you don't get prostate cancer, that sort of thing. But when, oh, that's my phone. But when, have something like that happen where it's like 3 or 4 times in a week and it feels like a PMO relapse when it's not because you haven't done that kind of stuff, then there's obviously something going on, and I'm gonna have to investigate that and figure out what exactly that is, because man, that felt horrible. That felt horrible. I was knocked out for almost an entire week, and I just barely struggled on through that. And I could only tell myself that just get through this stuff, because you got spring break coming up. You have a week off. You'll have a week to recuperate. Just get your assignments in and get your work done, and then you can just basically, like, in a sense, pass out. But that's the only thing that really got me through that was that. And I guess I was lucky to have external stimuli pushing me, because otherwise I would just been laying there. And so yeah, the reward circuit and depression. That's basically what I'm talking about today. I know I didn't really start off with that, but sort of what do you call it, like kind of giving like a syllabus of the video, or like a rundown of what like a table of contents. I didn't give a table of contents. Just struggling to get a video done and a video uploaded, because as you can see, like, it's been almost a week since I put out my last video, and this is why. So maybe I needed a little reminder of the night versus day changes going on, because man, that felt horrible. And there's even more motivation to stay away from PMO, because it was not a relapse in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not trying to rationalize things, but it was like giving me the same feeling as a relapse, and not just as a relapse, but as a binge. So stay safe, folks, and remember that it's not worth it. You make it through so many days, you get into that sort of routine of not doing that, and you start realizing how good how good it feels to not be an addict. And sometimes, like, life comes along and reminds you of what it felt like to be an addict without actually making you relapse. So yeah, stay strong, folks. Stay strong. And yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna finish this up. I'm gonna upload it. So do not let your addiction take your reward circuit away from you. Don't let other things come along take your reward circuit from you, because final little message I'm putting out in this video is the reward circuit is probably I think I would say the biggest technology we have available to us, built-in technology to actually, like, accomplish anything in life. And if you let something come along and take the place of all those goals in your life, you can end up really messed up. So, um, yeah, I think I'll finish up now, and then maybe tomorrow I'll do another video and I'll build on this, because that whole concept of the reward circuit as technology I think is an interesting thing to explore. But focusing on the concept of depression relating to the reward circuit and relating to Nofap, no PMO today. So thanks, and see you around. Bye.